Welcome to All Sex Talk. This is Master Taíno, and today we are going to talk about World AIDS Day. Today is December 1st, 2020, and this celebration or commemoration has been with us since 1988. That's when it was founded as a way to remember the people who were dealing with AIDS in the 80s. AIDS has been with us for 40 years. And I would like to reflect on a couple of topics regarding the pandemic. First of all, it's important that we remember those that we have lost. We have to acknowledge those who still has been working in education about AIDS and HIV. And also, it's time to stop all sort of discrimination and fears related to HIV/AIDS. So let's start with the first. Remember their names. Uh, Somebody, I remember the name now, had that brilliant idea of creating the AIDS quilt back in the 80s, who forced us to remember the names of the people that we have lost. And that is important. Uh, Myself, I have a little corner in my bedroom where I have the picture of my slave Tommy who died of AIDS in 2001, almost 2 decades ago. I have the picture of another young man who also died of AIDS in the 90s. And I have framed all the names of my friends who succumbed to the disease. And that's a personal way. And you should always remember those who were close to you. Because our leather king and master slave communities, we were decimated. We lost a lot of leaders. And it took a while to come back uh, after the years of 80s and 90s where AIDS were rampant without any cure or real medications. Um, for us of my generation, everyone who lived in the 80s or 90s, independently if we are HIV positive or HIV negative, we all are survivors. Anyone, especially gay men, of course, who live in that time and survive, we are survivors. And I consider myself like that. Remember, the AIDS started as a gay disease and took a while for people to realize that AIDS could happen to anyone, gay or straight, bisexual, male or female, doesn't matter. There's many ways for people to contract the illness. And we also remember in the 80s how hard it was to see the government just don't care about what was happening. The president of the United States took years to say the word AIDS for the first time. It was not until an actual friend that succumbed to AIDS that he finally started talking about that. Um, but in the late 90s, we have the new medications, the famous antiretrovirals. And that changed the disease from being death sentence to be a manageable disease like diabetes or heart disease, etc. Um, but new things has happened more recently. One is PrEP, is an AIDS medication, HIV medication that people take to avoid getting the disease. Those medications are expensive, so those who has a good health plan can afford them, and also they have some side effects. The main one, Truvada, is having some issues with things that are happening to people who were taking it. Um, what worries me about PrEP is this is a personal choice, and if you're in PrEP and it works for you, that's perfectly fine. I do worry about the people who take the PrEP as a way to have a license to do unprotected sex. And I think that even my recommendation will be, even if you're taking PrEP, protect, use condoms, because there are other things there too. That's why we have more cases of syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, and others. So be conscious about that. Don't think it's a license to do unprotected sex. The other part that I would like to address is the undetectable. I am alarmed how so many people don't even know what it is. Undetectable. And I'm going to quote, because this is very important, I'm going to quote a website called avert.org. I'm going to leave the link in the description, who said three important things about undetectable. An undetectable viral load is where antiretroviral treatment has reduced your HIV to such smaller quantities that it can no longer be detected by a standard blood test. Okay? Second, and this is the most important that people has to realize, people living with HIV who have an undetectable viral load, meaning they're very good taking the pill, cannot, repeat, cannot pass HIV on through sex. And third, being undetectable doesn't mean you're cured. You still have the virus, but you cannot transmit it. And this is important. I hate to see people afraid, or even in the apps asking for people if they're positive or negative. It doesn't matter, because the people who are positive and take care of themselves and are undetectable cannot transmit the virus. So don't discriminate. And most important, don't be afraid of people who may be undetectable. Okay? Educate yourself to understand that. So that's pretty much my message today on World AIDS Day. I just want to make sure that people remember those we lost, and those who has worked so hard and still are working so hard to educate people. And please, let's stop discrimination. Let's stop the fears. Uh, People has a lot to deal with, and take care of yourself. Don't take risk, and don't get infected, no matter if you're gay or straight. Okay, so this is my message for today. Don't forget to subscribe and to contact me. I'm leaving now in my description my contact information, and I will see you the next time. Thank you and have a good day.